Indiana, Illinois postgame live. We are simulcasting on X. We have the SIGs Inside Pod account linked. So I guess we're kind of, in a way, Brad, officially back for SIGs Inside, which is exciting. Obviously, we're on the Indiana Voice of College Football YouTube channel. We will be on Spotify and Apple and anywhere you can get your podcasts. I do have to reach out and double check on why those haven't been uploaded in a timely manner, but I'll definitely get an answer for that. But what a 24 hours, Brad. Let's start there. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling very, very happy about, a certain football team that, I follow, and they really showed up for me on a Saturday.
Little vindication, little validation.
Yeah, I think it was just it all came to fruition in terms of just like Indiana's now at a spot where they're legit and everyone just kind of has to accept it. That's the bottom line. And I think it's a good feeling, good spot to be in. They're legit national contenders. And it's kind of just what we've been saying this whole time is that eventually they're going to get there. And I think you saw the potential of what they were. Because whether or not Illinois is actually a top 10 team doesn't really matter. I think they are a top 25 team, and what they did to them Saturday night, prime time, in front of the whole nation watching, unbelievable.
It was diabolical. It was purely diabolical in all facets of the game. And before we kind of go through the box score, because I feel like the best way to approach this game is just go by scoring play and pick out little things from each drive, because they showed everything in this game. We spoke a lot about them holding back, especially with the offensive playbook, and I think you saw a lot of that in this game. But I do want to get to a couple house cleaning items before we get into that. It was a big recruiting weekend.
Yeah, a great result for those kids.
The crowd, oh my God. The shot, because it took forever for Peacock to get the game on because of Notre Dame and Purdue were afraid to play in the rain, so we had to wait for the game to start on Peacock. And it opened with that 2-minute shot of Memorial Stadium from a drone cam, and it was just shaking. You could just hear this. It was how could you not just see that and have a full heart? As somebody who wants to see Indiana football succeed, as somebody who was going to games with half empty stands, looking around, hoping one day it looked like that. Hats off to the crowd, man. That was, it made me so excited to get there next month, Brad. I literally can't wait.
It was belt to ass. Yeah, the crowd's great, but the product on the field it's at a point where it's it is kind of too small of a stadium. Sig's been talking about expanding the Rock. It's a fantastic spot to be in. And I was
pretty good case they just
made. We're getting some commits over the weekend, is what I've been hearing.
Yeah, Angelo Pons, Angelo Pons said that he heard there was people committing at halftime.
Oh.
I haven't seen anybody announce. The only commitment that got announced was Chase Branham, the point guard in the class of 26 or 27. Darren DeVries did some nice work this weekend too. But Jalen Brewster, 5-star defensive lineman, took his second visit to Indiana. He then now set his official commitment date. That'll be October 4th. If you want to look at his top 12, it's just look at the top 12 from, I guess, last year's college football playoff, because I don't know where any of those guys are ranked anymore. But, yeah, massive weekend. He wasn't the only one there. They had a bunch of guys who are already in the class, including Jaden Williams, I know was there. Jacob Savage, I know was there. I believe Henry Ollinger was there too. They had a bunch of guys from the class in the building. And on top of that, they had a bunch of high value targets that they've been on for a while. So in terms of setting it up and knocking it down, A++.
You remember when I called this the biggest game in IU history?
And I laughed at you, and I vehemently defended it and said that's a ridiculous statement.
Well, I feel like this is a launch pad game. And in that sense,
correct.
I was right.
We can agree to disagree. Launchpad, yes, in terms of public perception, but the thing is, the stuff Indiana fans, and I'll even go even more specific, the things me and you have been saying, and you can go back and watch any video on this channel or go back and listen to any episode of SIGs Inside. That's what we expect. Listen, I wasn't expecting 63-10. That was an ass kicking. That was incredible. I loved every second of it. But I was expecting a pretty dominant win. Like I was expecting double digits. Like it.
I was expecting it to win close. But the funny thing is that many of Cignetti's wins and his best wins have been close. He hasn't. The only close game he's won is Michigan. Everything else has been double-digit wins. And then obviously the 2 losses to 2 teams that played in the national title game. So the resume speaks volumes. We all saw I know I'm probably jumping ahead here with the AP poll ranking, but
I didn't even have it written down, to be honest. I was going to save it for Tuesday.
I mean, it's ridiculous where they're placing this team after that type of performance. Where the team
haven't you heard, Brad? Illinois shouldn't have been ranked that high.
Well, they're still ranked is the thing. So that narrative doesn't even exist. So
the goalposts have been sliding since the second quarter, Brad.
Yep. We beat them too badly.
Yeah, I kept a lot of receipts, and I know I wasn't the only one, but I was letting people or reminding people what they were saying last week, all morning, all night. Basically, starting in the third quarter, I was letting people know they were completely wrong about their assumptions heading into this game, and I had a good time doing that. I got to be honest. I knew it was coming. That's why I saved all of them. And there's still people like back on the comment I made after the college football playoff game where I was like, this Indiana's a problem and we're going to be around for a while. Like there's still those like people over there I have my eye on. Like, don't worry. There's a lot of, you're going to win 4 games. You'll never see the college football playoff again comments. And I'm obviously way too early in the season to speak on those. So you hold those in the back pocket. But like, I don't know, people say dumb things. I see it. I like engaging in the discourse.
It's funny to see all the people kind of backtrack. For me, it's been pretty quiet. I feel like I haven't been on Twitter honestly all that much. I've just been kind of soaking it in, and I did some scrolling like probably, this morning after the game, and so after watching it, and yeah, it's funny to see all the haters kind of got real quiet. Most of them were just kind of accepting it, and that's a good sign.
How can you not? And that was kind of the point, is like a lot of people were talking out of their ass. They're literally the definition of brand brain. And like a lot of the Indiana fan base is very similar to, or is probably going to feel very similar to what I'm about to say.
Apologies in order. Yeah.
When you're engaging in a discussion about Indiana football, again, specifically with somebody like me, most people don't understand the trap they're walking into. They think they're just spewing nonsense at a bot. And it's like, no, like the Indiana football fans have woken up. Like they're paying attention to what's going on here. Like this isn't an accident. Games like this aren't like, oh my God, you just accidentally beat a top 10 team by the largest result that's ever happened for a Big Ten team.
They punted twice in the first 2 out of the first 3 possessions. And then
Quinn Warren dropped the ball and then was able to get it off anyway. And the fact that he was able to keep his poise, like we were talking, like I didn't get a chance to do my initial reaction video. I was back home, and so we were out in Asbury, and like haven't been able to see my friends for a while. So like I was taking advantage of the moment. So I was watching the game on my phone, and my phone died. And so I wasn't able to, my plan was to record the video on the boardwalk and like chirp at that one dude who told me I'd never leave Indiana, which I thought was a funny comment. So I was going to be like, here's the Atlantic Ocean. Like I'm talking about my team now. But like we talked about having a short memory. Mendoza wasn't fazed by going out there and not having a successful first drive. Quinn Warren wasn't fazed by dropping a punt. The secondary wasn't fazed by the miscommunication. Like they're a dangerous football team.
This team is unbelievable, and you see the moniker underneath my name, and they've never deceived me. This team's a contender. I don't know, obviously being realistic, if you're a contender, it's like, will we get it done or not? I don't know when it comes to the Big Ten or a national title, and that just comes with time. But we know this team's very good, and they look the part, and we just got to enjoy the season as it comes. We got a big game against Iowa coming up.
100%. And we're not going to talk too much about it. I guess we can. No, I want to have the let's cleanse the plate, look ahead conversation after we talk about this game, because I feel like it's kind of pointless. We need to look ahead to Iowa and then like spend a half hour, 45 minutes talking about belt to ass. So I think we talk belt to ass, but no, I'm with you. Like this, I'm already starting to talk about it. Like this Iowa team, say what you will about their inability to throw the ball forward, showed something against Rutgers the other night, and they're a very tough team to play at home. They're always well coached, and like Ferentz is not the winningest coach in Big Ten history for no reason. Like those guys are going to be ready to play, and that's going to be a tough environment. And I'm honestly really happy that Indiana gets to play Iowa, then goes on a bye, and then plays Oregon. So you get Iowa as an environment. I don't know. Again, I haven't been to either of these places, so I'm not assuming comparable, but like really strong environment for Iowa, not as strong of a football team as Oregon. So they basically get the like tune-up away game, then right into the bye to fix any of the issues, hopefully, before they get a really tough test against Oregon. So the schedule, while it is difficult,
that's just a heavyweight out at this point. So obviously it's on the road. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
This team has a shot against anyone, and
100%.
They showed it. So, I mean, I just kind of want to talk about the details of the Illinois game at this point.
Yeah, well, I think we can. Do you want to just jump into the box score? Or do you
want to go through it this way? Because more housekeeping.
Well, I was going to say the pundits just all look stupid. Did you see how many? I can't believe Nick Saban took Illinois. How could any of these people? And I said this to the Big Ten account page. I still can't remember genetics, whatever is his handle, but. The fact that you can look at Indiana's defensive front and Illinois' offensive line and not come to the conclusion that that's going to be a glaring issue for Illinois in this football game tells me you just didn't take the time to look, quite frankly. Like they got eviscerated. They asked Cignetti in the post game, and I didn't hear all of the post game. Like, why was he confident they'd be able to have success? And he was like, I watched the Duke game.
I knew that. We talked about this as if, it would be the edge that got Indiana to get to victory. The scale at which it occurred was eyebrow raising, and this defensive line they made Swiss cheese out of this Illinois offensive line that had a lot of hype coming into the year, and was a big reason why they were ranked so high, because they had
18 starters returned. Brad, don't you know?
All 5 starters on the O-line came back, and
it's 4 or 5, but the guy who left wasn't good because they replaced him.
Yeah, defensive backfield was banged up for Illinois, but still, at that point, it just didn't matter. None of it. It was an evisceration.
It didn't matter. It literally didn't matter. None of it mattered.
Mendoza, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally the front runner for the Heisman as we speak. He's number 1 in Heisman odds. And again, if you've been listening to Brad and I talk about him, we were telling you grab him plus 6,500 at DraftKings. Like, that was asinine. The fact that he was so crazy, crazy. I think. Hold on, I want to kind of speed run keys to the game real quick, because it usually helps me kind of put a bow on the preview to the recap, and then I want to jump into the box score, because I mean, like specifically shouting out some of these guys, including like Bones Jones and Landino. Like these guys deserve to be talked about.
Those were the 2 names I wrote down on my notes app when I was watching the game. I wrote
Bones Jones has been phenomenal.
And then next to Landino, I just wrote WTF. I was just this fucking guy. He's insane.
Key number 1 was establish the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and Indiana did just that. It looked early like the front for Illinois was a little confusing. The linebackers were really strong, at least early in the game. But once Indiana started opening up with the RPO game and the passing attack got going, like they had no answer for Surratt or Coop or EJ Williams. They all looked phenomenal. There was no answer for the run game. Indiana, believe it or not, ran for 300 yards in this game again. Let me ask you a question, Brad. Do you know who led the Hoosiers in rushing this week?
Kobe Martin.
It was Kobe Martin. 2 touchdown scorer, Kobe Martin.
Leading touchdown scorer on the team. Terms of rushing.
Yeah, I think he's the leading rushing touchdown scorer, which is crazy. And I know
5 receiving.
Coop's got to be up there too. Coop's got 5, right? He had 4 the other week. But it was kind of funny because we did speculate that the running back rotation was going to shrink a little bit. Cignetti said that Kobe Martin was going to need to be ready to get carries. He's obviously, as the year goes on, going to have to be more ready, but we did see a very shortened rotation. It was mainly Hemby and Black before the game was really out of hand, which wasn't surprising. And I thought Black looked phenomenal too. Again,
they all looked phenomenal. Hemby didn't. It's time to talk about them like they're a contender. So really, like, here it is. Like, Hemby had an all right game. I'm sure he'll bounce back. You know, Surratt and Coop were the real stars of the show, and
EJ Williams too. I thought the receiving core was awesome.
We got to win on the outsides, and that's what our superstars did, and that's how you got to talk about Surratt and Coop moving forward. They're superstars. They're the two best receivers on what should be a top 10 team in all the country, led by a very efficient quarterback that's 10 touchdowns in 2 games. A very, they're a high potent offense. It's gonna be tough for any team they see moving forward to match up with them, because they got NFL talent across the board, and it was all on display against Illinois.
Yep. And then as far as dominating the other side of the line, like, we can laugh about it, we can talk about it. 7 sacks. They got well acquainted with Luke Altmaier, who, and we can get into that discourse too if you want to do that right now. Of like
with nothing from Mikhail Kamara, but it's fine.
They're probably, dude. They got to be doubling him. There's no way, like,
sure.
All our defensive tackles are just seeing one-on-one matchups, and they're just eviscerating these poor guards and centers like they're not even there. Like, Tyreek Tucker on one of the sacks just took, I think it was the center, and drove him right back into Altmaier and just hugged Altmaier like, I'm home now. Like, go, it's time to go to the ground. Those dudes were unblockable, even when they brought 4. And then when Altmaier tried to escape the pocket, which is another thing that we pointed out, where Indiana struggled, was like that really, really athletic quarterback, and people still aren't giving Colton Joseph enough credit for how athletic that dude is. Altmaier wasn't able to get away.
Yeah, with that defensive line, it's great to see, kind of Landino step into that, 3-tech over Wheeler is what kind of seems to be happening, and Landino's really kind of coming into that role as a potential starter at such a young age, where he's a true sophomore, and just really great example of the depth that group has. It's not the 8-man rotation that we were thinking, but 7 very solid players with with Wyatt and Daly, on that edge for the team, and yeah, they're absolutely dominant.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean,
a lot of potential NFL talent on that team, with not just
Daly half a sack, half a tackle for loss. Wheeler half a tackle for loss. Landino 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. Wyatt half a sack, 2 TFLs. Tyreek Tucker 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. That's all defensive line production, and none of those guys are named Mikhail Kamara. That is an insane amount of depth and production that Indiana is able to have, and their best player hasn't even played up to his to the standard that he set for himself yet.
To the stats, but we don't know the whole story behind that.
No, 100%. No, this is
looking good.
Mikhail Kamara is one of the highest graded defensive linemen in the Big Ten. I don't have the stats sitting directly in front of me, but Jamie Jordan tweeted it out the other day. It's like, with the way these guys are graded, you can't, and the way they're shut. Illinois ran for 2 yards.
It's a good sign. I mean,
2.
Yeah. And even if you took away the sacks, it was still, the run game was about 11 carries for 28 yards is what I saw, which is basically about 2 yards per carry. Just absolute domination.
Absolutely
A
nothing.
boa constrictor of a defense this Indiana Hoosiers team is, and yeah, they looked more dominant than any of the teams they faced so far, and it's scary to see that level of improvement, considering we obviously, Illinois still is the toughest team they've played so far. Just watching them, they were good. They were just overwhelmed. It was just too much.
They weren't ready for the environment the way the crowd was
expecting us to be as good as we were, like as big and as strong. Like they couldn't tackle
and
Omar
physical.
Cooper. Like Omar Cooper is one of the hardest guys to tackle in the country. He's on our football team. He's as our 2 receiver. He's the amount of talent on this team was just like the gap that they're starting to build amongst the rest of the pack is astounding in year 2 in September.
Yeah, they don't even. This isn't even a full cycle of Cignetti guys yet. Like he hasn't even been able to recruit from the like angle or perception or situation that like he knows he actually has, which is a terrifying thing for the rest of the country.
Yeah, and we're seeing like Ro Hardy and Landino really start making an impact on not just the team but on games, which is a huge thing to see. Their
Absolutely.
progression. Those young guys, those Cignetti recruits coming in and progressing in the system.
Key number 2 was contain Beatty between the 20s and in the punt game. I don't think he did anything. I know he went down at one point early in the game. It felt like a lot of their guys were getting out injured. Did it seem like an odd amount of their players got hurt in this game? And I don't know what their injury reports are, and I'm definitely not trying to insinuate anything, but they had, I think, 6 of 7 of their DBs got hurt in this game or something like that. Their star defensive back didn't play. They had one of their defensive backs get thrown out of the game for targeting, which I don't even know how Omar Cooper still held onto that ball. But a lot of those dudes didn't seem like they wanted to be on the field, is kind of my point.
Yeah, they're beating their ass. It was a mental game that the Hoosiers won. It went beyond just physicality. To be honest, they quit. They didn't want any more of it. It was bad.
They were waving the white flag at half. Like they would have, like, their fan base would have given up the second half of the game.
It was over. Like,
that play by D'Angelo Pons was so ridiculous. And I think Bielema said they only had 10 guys on the field at that point, and that's a direct result of being nervous about the moment and the crowd and realizing you're a little bit maybe in a harder game or a little bit more overwhelmed than you expected to be based on the way they were talking. I don't know if that picture of Luke Altmaier out at the bar was recent or not, but the way the Illinois fans were like throwing it around, it made it seem like the kid was going out this week. So I hope that wasn't the case. I hope they were locked in. But if that's true, like, maybe their program isn't in as good of a place as they think. If that's their
level, you know?
No, not even close.
That's how you get results like that.
No, I can tell you where our quarterback was. It definitely wasn't at the bar. Key number 3, we talked about
community guy. Fernando.
Yeah, he loves community.
That's what he does.
I will say too, there was a Tom Brady clip going around Twitter a couple weeks ago where he was talking about like he never sees quarterbacks celebrate with their guys anymore. Like he said, he always made it a point to like sprint down to the end zone and celebrate. The entire Indiana team is in the end zone every time they score, and Mendoza is in the large part leading that pack, jumping chest bumps with people, and like Coogan's down there and Carter Smith's down there. Like those guys give a shit and they like each other, and you can see it's genuine, and it's unreal to see as Hoosier fans.
Yeah.
Dude. Like,
21 for 23.
He had 15 straight completions at one point.
And 5 touchdowns.
15 straight completions.
I'm giving Mendoza a helmet sticker, as he's now considered one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I'm curious to see those quarterback power rankings that, you know, basically every single one had Mendoza left out of the top 20. Basically what I was saying after 3 weeks, and it was nice to see him kind of just put out a statement, and then it's just not even being really talked about by media pundits. Like they're all scrambling to come out with content about this team and come out with a take in terms of what it's like. Everyone's kind of digesting it. I haven't really seen a whole lot in terms of like breakdown of what happened. Like it was just kind of no one's really addressing it. It's kind of just a big elephant in the room. That
there was a great article I retweeted by Matt Zemek about Cignetti and the way people have been misperceiving Bloomington that I almost felt like I wrote, which I thought was interesting. So I retweeted that if people want to check that out. But no, you're absolutely right. And that was part, like I tweeted, watch the way ESPN flips. And like credit to Reese Davis, he wasn't on the graphic, but he also picked Indiana. So it wasn't just Pat, it was Pat and Reese. But watch the way that every ESPN personality flips on this team. Like you saw the Hayes Fawcett edit for Fernando Mendoza, like that entire apparatus of like, we're hitching our wagon to Illinois or we're just ignoring Indiana has finally realized that they fucked up in a big way and completely missed the boat. And now they look like idiots. So like, I understand that Indiana fans are going to gravitate towards this content because it's content directed towards us. But
we're just calling out what's going on.
But like, it's like, it's direct pandering, dude. It's pandering. It's tail between your legs. It's tail between their legs. Like, we were wrong. We're sorry. Please engage with us now. And it's like, I don't know. I'm good. Like, I'm fully prepared for what's his face to put us in the Music City Bowl again. Like, it's all a sham.
We play
Oh,
that.
wait. Brandon W. saying he believes they said Indiana only had 10 on the field for the punt, not Illinois. Oh, so we had one less guy and still blocked the punt.
Too fast.
Pons is 2 guys. That's why. So it's actually he's too good. He's literally too good. That's insane.
What happened on that busted coverage?
They were playing cover 3 and they just got confused. It looked like
I was
Amari
frustrated.
Farrell was supposed to be.
It was like at a point, like you just got just play football and like stay on the guy running to the end zone, you know?
Well, I mean, listen, I get it. It was the one time Illinois was able to scheme up a guy to confuse the defense to run open. Guess what happened after that? I think they caught like 3 balls.
Yeah, it's Altmaier, 14 of 22, 146, just a whole lot of nothing, to be honest, besides that deep ball.
He threw a real nice deep ball, and that was pretty much it. The dude I couldn't make any plays and didn't have any time to. And when he did have time, guys were clamped. Like it was
without that play, like he drops that ball, he is sub 100 yards against this Indiana team.
Yeah, like, I mean, so I saw a lot of people saying it, but Indiana treated them like an FCS team. And again, like I was saying before,
they beat South Carolina last year and brought back most of that team. Like they are good. Like they are 10-win.
I was telling people before last week that it was going to get borderline disrespectful.
What you're seeing here, this is a top 25 team. They just
obliterated,
like a Bama team would. Georgia,
exactly.
You got to recognize what you're saying because that's what Illinois.
Again,
is.
I don't think it's an accident that we saw the clip of Cignetti freaking out with the score bug popping up 66-0, and then they come out and stop a team like those Saban teams did. Like if you're looking for that style of coaching, and again, I'm not calling this Indiana team that Alabama dynasty. Again, way too early for that. That would be a ridiculous statement. They haven't won anything yet. They won a football game. But the way the guy coaches, the guy who's pissed off up 40, it's hard not to draw comparisons. And obviously he's part of the tree, so makes sense. Key number 4 was win all 3 phases, dominate the kicking game. I thought they did just that.
I feel like they did that pretty quickly.
They blocked a punt. They made all the field goals. I don't think there was a kick return.
Didn't have to do much. He didn't.
Radich didn't have to do much. After the second punt, Quinn Warren didn't have to do much either. It was
twice. That was it.
Frankie continues to be a shining light and Grant Kane, the special teams coordinator and tight ends coach, had an amazing night. Between Nowakowski blocking the punt. I mean, dude, they were phenomenal.
Yeah, Nowakowski really breaking out and becoming that tight end 1 for this team, I think, is a real surprise. I think I wrote him off mostly because of his kind of build and what he like the H-back look, but it really kind of works for this team. And obviously they have Stays as well, who's kind of a big target, and I'm sure they're going to use him in the red zone. But having Nowakowski really come into his own as being kind of that tight end 1, A, B, role for us is awesome to see, because I don't think he really was that at Wisconsin. That's just, I think that's just cool for
definitely
him.
Not
cool for the team that we have this old veteran who's really becoming a leader on the team, from what I'm hearing too.
He's a captain.
He's an important piece of the squad, and seeing him get that touchdown, that's the type of stuff that you see from that level elite teams. Guys like that.
Yeah, they score from 40 yards against what's supposed to be a top 10 defense in the country. That Illinois team, and as much as because Indiana fans were doing the same thing on the flip side of talk as much shit about our schedule as you want, the numbers are the numbers. Illinois' defense was playing really well. They were allowing 7 points per game. They got absolutely outclassed regardless of who was on the field. Scheme, whatever, didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Two offensive touchdowns a quarter.
And then number 5, win the turnover battle. Indiana obviously didn't turn the ball over. They blocked a punt. It wasn't a sloppy game in that regard. I will give credit to
I was Altmaier. An idiot.
Although no. Actually, I take that back. I take it back. Boykin dropped what would have been.
Dude, there were a few pick 6 missed opportunities. There was a couple.
Boykin could have moonwalked into the end zone he was thinking about the celebration.
Oh,
I think Louis Moore dropped one too.
Yeah, Louis Moore and Boykin dropped one. No, I think Louis Moore had one. And
did he have one?
He got a pick.
Okay, it all blends. They were just kicking their ass, dude. He had a phenomenal game too. It goes to show you how important that guy is, and he's got an important date on. Okay, Amari got the pick. Yeah, Amari's a monster, dude. But Louis Moore had another amazing game. He's got another trial on Wednesday, so obviously we're holding our breath for that. Shout out to Brian Pilot and take us home.
Every time they caught the ball, it was like we had two guys around them. They had nowhere to go. We were
a masterclass. Like I started to write down like the coaches who I wanted to shout out, and it's literally the whole staff: Sig, Haynes, Shanahan, Kane, Bosed, Miller, Williams, Kuntz, Adams, and Ojong. Like, dude, they're all like they all follow Cignetti's lead, and they're all bought in, and they're all in their own right monsters. And you see it in the way their rooms play and the talent they bring in. It's just I've been saying it till I'm blue in the face for months. This is an elite football program operating at a high level.
We have the odds leader for the Heisman as our quarterback.
Yeah. And he's also shooting up NFL draft boards.
And a top 10 defense. You can't convince me they're not, on paper, a title contender.
No, they are a title contender, and that's the point. We've been like, and I went on Mark Rogers.
Numerical evidence that they are, without a doubt, and everyone just has to accept it. And I think a lot of apologies are in order.
I went on Mark Rogers' Voice of College Football show 5 months ago.
He's one of them too.
5 months ago, and told him that Indiana was a tier above this Illinois team in a significant way, and that they were much closer to the level of Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, wherever you want to put those, than they were that Illinois-Iowa tier of team. And I got a lot of pushback on that.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised they just put the score up. I mean, a little bit in terms of the number, but like in the fact that they dominated in all facets of the game and proved they were a better program, I'm not surprised at all. Although I do want to point out that it was, and I'm not the only one again, that it was a significant turning point in the game when Indiana was going to punt on 4th and 1 and Illinois called timeout because they weren't ready or weren't lined up correctly, and Indiana decided to go for it. And Kalen Black hit the hole and met one of the safeties stepping up or something and hit him back 3 yards. And I was like, oh, this game's over. Yeah. And then Mendoza went zoop, zoop, zoop down the field. And when they got the false start on third and goal and Cignetti lost his shit and it was like 3rd and 11 and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they might have to settle for a field goal. And then no, Mendoza just throws like the most perfect layered football to EJ Williams.
Dude, you see
and
that?
You're just like, oh wait, no, we have
where he sidearmed it to the sideline to Surratt, like around the defender. Like,
yeah, it was like a design. Like, yeah, exactly. It was almost like Tebow-esque.
You gotta watch that, bro. The kid's got a whip. I see what. So when Cignetti says that, that's what that means. Kids. He's all about that action.
The difficulty level of that throw is like the fact that he made it look so easy is insane. John goes natty or bust. The teams come to Bloomington and leave talking to themselves. The images of now 3 coaches being keeled over and like now the 2 press conferences, first rule, now Bielema of just being like, I don't even know what happened out there is so crazy that he's just creating graveyards of like, yeah, please come pick me up. I don't want to be here anymore. Is the fact that this dude's doing this in the beginning of his 2nd year, taking over this program. And again, I'll keep saying it. People are like, for Matt Rule, oh, it's year 3. Like he's going to get the plays rolling. Like, well, some guys have it. Some guys don't. Curt Cignetti has it. It's very clear.
Oh man. It's just quite funny. Just seeing everything. You see remember they were complaining about how every Indiana fan was pretending, like saying that we're going to win like 70-0.
That was so funny how accurate they got the score.
I guess they could talk shit because we didn't get to 70 on them. We only beat them by 53. So,
well, Brad, everybody spent the week telling me that Bielema purposely keeps his scores down because he like runs the ball and like plays hard defense. So they weren't actually trying.
You run the ball, we run the ball. 300 yards in each of the 4 games that we've played.
No, you don't get it. Altmaier or Mendoza's good, Brad, but he's no Luke Altmaier.
Yeah.
It was funny too. That was, and
I remember when I said Andrew Luck. You know, do you see it? Do you see it?
Yes. He's not as athletic.
Right?
He's not as like.
Yeah. He's not going to run anyone over. Like, yeah.
He's mobile enough to get out of there.
Luck. He's not Andrew Luck, but he's pretty damn. Like, that's how his game is. He's a
gamer for sure.
He runs. Him running the ball and design runs is a lot different than when he like kind of makes a play and runs out of the pocket, which he hasn't really had to do too much this year.
Yeah, the pass protection has been phenomenal.
I think eventually we'll have to see that against like maybe a Penn State, Oregon. He might be seeing that a little bit more. But the design runs, he's not anywhere near Andrew Luck's in terms of like burst and athleticism, but
which is
throwing,
okay.
Yeah, the throwing is what really that comparison drew from, and very, very similar.
The arm talent jumps off the page completely. And that's why I thought it was funny that people were saying things like Altmaier's the better college quarterback, like definitively, when Fernando Mendoza is the career leader in completion percentage at Cal. Like, do we have to go back and read the list of Cal quarterbacks who are also on there? Like Rodgers and Goff and whoever else played. Like, what are we talking about? They sounded dumb and looked dumb and now look really dumb. And
all right,
entertainment.
We're still doing helmet stickers. I mean, we've been going at it now for a little bit.
We're still.
Coop and Surratt. I mean, helmet stickers.
I want to talk about Bones Jones.
Oh yeah,
he gets a helmet. The dude is the team leader in sacks right now, I believe. He's been absolutely phenomenal. You want to talk about somebody who had, and nobody has a right to be like whiny or pouty or like that dude had every right to go try and seek like a full-blown quote unquote starting job at a different place. He's not even technically the starter in the base defense. If you want to be like that, if they're going to be playing the 4-2-5, he's one of the most important players on the defense. The energy he plays with, the physicality he plays with, the fact that he understands the defense so well, they call him like a second, not quite Aiden Fisher, but like in terms of like if Fish wasn't wearing the green dot, it'd be Bones Jones. That dude has been phenomenal this year and a huge reason why Indiana is so dangerous.
What's so great about, Bones Jones and, is that next year we have Fisher. Obviously, Fisher's going to the NFL after this season. But returning, since we've had 3 this year, having Roe Hardy and Jones come back and really just kind of step into that starting role is really what we're going to see happen. And, that's becoming a common theme in that room where they really just need to build from within and they don't really go to the portal too much to supplant talent there.
If you look at those linebackers coming in,
they brought in is Najee Logan. He ended up leaving after 1 year. So they've really just done a great job in that room. And yeah, Jones.
I guess you can argue why
Tom
it's
Allen
kind of like a hybrid.
Mind you, a Tom Allen.
Hey, Kobe Martin too.
Seeing that development, that system. Tom Allen always had a great talent, like eye for talent when it came to linebackers, and seeing Jones clearly has all the physical capabilities to potentially play at the next level. Just remember how he's a special teams ace. He could make a team just by kind of being that really good football player on maybe on a third phase at the next level. But a big future contributor. And you think about, like, we talk about Landino and Tucker kind of becoming those non-seniors, supplanting themselves as the kind of the stars in the middle. That middle of the defense in the front 7 is looking really nice over the next couple years. And that's awesome to see from Indiana, from just a program health standpoint, and kind of seeing us, progress as a football team, not just obviously this year as they continue to improve, but beyond.
If you want to talk about the Tom Allen guys that are contributing to this team, Carter Smith, Omar Cooper, Amari Farrell, like
Louis
Kobe
Moore.
Martin's contributing. Louis Moore is a Tom Allen guy. EJ Williams, technically a Tom Allen guy.
Leo Benson,
Tom Allen guy. Bray Lynch, Tom Allen guy.
Yeah. Drew Evans. Yeah.
No, Drew Evans came with Bostead. All right, was it? I don't think he was.
Oh, he came the last.
Came the year before.
He came the last year of Tom Allen from Wisconsin after his freshman. believe.
And then obviously Bones Jones, like getting talented guys to Bloomington wasn't the issue. It was the discipline necessary to.
It's the system.
Exactly. And like
now
we know Bloomington very well. It's a very fun place. It's an easy place to get lost to. I couldn't imagine what it's like living as an athlete with a nice NIL check. And the fact that all those dudes are still that disciplined and humble and hungry is a testament to Curt Cignetti and that staff.
Yeah, we talked about Jane Brewster coming in, the 5-star D tackle from Texas. I mean, just think about this team once they get there. I hate to do the Bama comparisons again, but like the Josh Jacobs, they're the 5. Once they get the future crown jewels of recruiting classes, they're going to. I mean, tell me Showtime Sales was at that game.
I think he was at the week before. I'm not sure if he was there, and he was
definitely
on the official
on TV. It stood out. They flashed the graphic of Cooper and Surratt just kind of feasting,
dominating.
Defense.
But you just see the environment. Like you could feel the environment through the screen. Like it was palpable. It was impressive. Yeah. John says Mendoza is 40 of 42 his last 2 games
with 10 tutties.
Hey, go again. I keep pushing people back to our old content, but go find the video of Brad and I ranking the Big Ten quarterbacks and go see where we put Mendoza.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up because I was looking at that, and I put Aller and Altmaier basically by default as my 2 and 3, but like at this point, obviously they wouldn't be there. Nico at 4. I think Raiola and Mayava, Underwood, Sane, and Moore, who I have kind of that 5 through 9 have really. I think I nailed that. I just kind of missed on, just gave Aller, Altmaier, and Nico kind of the benefit of the doubt because they just had more experience than these guys. But they've really come into their own. If I just rechange the rankings, I feel like I was pretty close here. And it kind of makes sense how the progression happened. The older guys aren't as good.
I still haven't gone back and looked at our over-unders, but I'll have to double check those too. Yeah, the defensive line was utterly disgusting, utterly disgusting. And we talked about Tucker a little bit and just the rotation there, and Daly and Wyatt and the impact those guys have made. And obviously Kamara is doing his thing. You look at the underlying stats.
I mean, are these guys?
They're as good as any group in the country.
They're NFL. Like, are we going to see potentially in the Daly, Wyatt, and Kamara could all get combine invites potentially just based on kind of how they look and how twitchy they are and how physical they really open it up for the inside guys like Wheeler and Landino and Tucker that kind of have that really good one-on-one pass rush ability from an interior position. I mean, they're disgustingly built. It's the 7 guys, not the 8 that we were thinking with Ndukwe really not getting as much. But who I was seeing out there? Quentin Clark, who right before the season, they changed. He's a little undersized. They changed he's listed as a linebacker on my depth chart, but right before the season, he was switched to D-line on the roster. So he's looking to make that transition to more of a edge rusher.
A Wyatt-esque. I think it's more of like a Wyatt-esque stud position where you can have somebody with pass rush skills who can drop back and cover, and you can be a little bit more.
Do you remember?
Deceptive.
You remember that play where Kamara was in coverage last year? They scored a touchdown. I believe it might have been Michigan.
Northwestern.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was Northwestern.
I think they're trying to avoid that. Is what?
Yeah, that's why he's then you don't move the guy to stud.
Well, Quentin Clark.
Oh, you're talking about Quentin Clark. I'm talking about Kamara. If you want less coverage opportunities, you don't put the guy at the position that takes his hand out of the dirt.
Clark in that position. But anyways, Mendoza's on pace for 3,000 yards and 45 touchdowns.
Hey, I took the over. I took the over 40.
That's all I'm saying. 42.
And he didn't throw a touchdown pass in the first
game.
Game.
Zero interceptions while throwing it at a 76% clip. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's insane.
He's probably going to throw for more than 3,000 yards. That's probably like underestimating it because he hasn't played in a fourth quarter yet. So,
yeah, what if they get into a shootout? Although I don't imagine many shootouts with this defense. And again, they ran for 300 yards for the fourth time this year. Like, that is crazy.
They're a top 10 defense, and even the Phil Steele computers were putting Indiana top 10 in basically every category based on those things aren't bad. It's not like they're probably underrating Indiana, if anything, just based on kind of how predictive models typically work.
I thought our offensive line was, again, just as dominant as our defensive line. We talked about Pat Coogan, and I was trying to be polite because of how much I like and enjoyed Mike Kadick as both a football player and like as a personality, to say the things that it did get out once. I did let it go once that I felt like Coogan was worth 2 more wins than Kadick. But Kadick was like talking about this game going, Coogan is literally better than me. Like he's saying it. So I feel fine saying it. Like Pat Coogan is worth the fact that Notre Dame just let that dude walk away and was okay with it. It's just like you take center, which you want a guy with a ton of experience, somebody who's played a lot of football, somebody who the team likes, and there's like kick rocks, buddy. Like the recruiting rankings say you're trash, is insane to me. And I'm not surprised that Notre Dame wasn't able to win these games where like their quarterback looked like a freshman.
I mean,
like where the adult in the room is playing center in Bloomington. And thank you very much for that, because that is so insane. But that dude is so impressive. And between him and Carter Smith and the 2 guards, Lynch and Evans, and the way Benson's playing, they neutralized Illinois' defensive front, all of them. They only hit Mendoza when they brought too many guys to block. And you could argue those were almost Mendoza's fault for not getting rid of the ball quick enough.
It's hilarious when obviously the issue when you're in any rebuild, not just in Indiana's case, but you gotta catch up in the trenches. And clearly that was the problem last year against, the Ohio States and the Notre Dame when push came to shove. And they just weren't able to move the ball on offense anymore. And then people don't realize when they add 7 transfers to go to those spots in the offseason to address it, they don't think that things might change year 2 in a rebuild where
nobody was giving Indiana that
and went to the playoff year 1.
Nobody was giving Indiana that like year 2 jump. Like everybody was discounting Indiana. I still have receipts from college football accounts that are being like, these teams are going to regress this year and all this bullshit. And the people like looking at Curt Cignetti's history and not taking it seriously, or looking at Indiana's history and getting complete brand brain and not being able to understand that if you look at the actual nuts and bolts of the program and the actual things coming out of it from the people seeing it from the inside, it's not the Indiana program people grew up watching and beating into the ground. It's a completely different program. And I hope people see that now, but I know that the goalposts are going to get moved.
This whole episode just feels like one big victory lap.
Yes and no. It's like it's more of like I know you're right.
Like
it's an I told you so. It's exactly what it is. Is like
we lose, like I know what this program is because they just did that. And they've done it before. And like Nebraska was probably, a decent team, and they kind of did the same thing with Illinois, except I think this Illinois team's a lot better than Nebraska was in 2024.
Yes.
Makes this whole thing a lot scarier. Not for
this
me,
is a more
but
impressive win.
Everyone else.
Brad, this is the most. I'm sorry, hold on.
New York, huh? Yeah,
this is a more impressive win than that Nebraska game, and the fact this is literally the widest margin of victory a Big Ten team has ever put on a top 10 opponent, ever. From any team, from Ohio State, from Michigan, from newly minted Oregon. Like, it's never happened. It's literally never happened. Nebraska, go back through their history, Iowa, and like we'll shift focus to Iowa next, like on Tuesday, and I'm excited to get to the Iowa discussion because I ruffled a bunch of Iowa feathers last week unintentionally. So I'm hoping we have Corey on this week and he can let us know what we're missing with Iowa. But it was a throttling. and it was a coming out party. And I'm glad that NBC got their head out of their ass and put the game on national television so more people could watch it.
Yeah, no, that was pretty wild. It was tough for us to get the
beginning of the game,
and then they didn't start for like another 20 minutes. It was
very
wild.
frustrating.
Yeah,
very frustrating. I thought Kobe Martin, A, was phenomenal. B, proved he belonged and deserves to be worked into that running back rotation. I think if you had some worries about maybe he wasn't ready yet, he took full advantage of playing against the twos for Illinois. Like, he was very excited to get into that game. He was running with a purpose.
I need us to keep feeding Hemby because I feel like he's a big reason why.
You were saying you didn't think Hemby had a good game. I thought Hemby had a great game. I thought they were much.
He just didn't have the explosives that the rest of the team had, which it just.
I thought he was great catching the ball out of the backfield. I thought he was great running through the tackles, getting hard yards, and just like being somebody who was gonna make the first guy miss, and at the very worst get 2 or 3 yards. Like, I thought he had a really good game. But no, you're right. There wasn't. Like, Black had the explosive run, which was awesome. Like, Martin obviously had the explosive run. We saw an explosive play from Nowakowski. So I get it from that sense. But I thought, like, even like the third down, like running into the flat, bringing the blitz type of like swing route plays, I thought he was like really valuable.
I just see, 14 of 56, he's about at 4.6 yards per carry. I just think that's a little below par in terms of what Indiana running backs typically get, and I think I'm not criticizing him. I just want to get him going. He's playing. He's just playing average right now. He needs to, start being the playmaker that we kind of need him to down the stretch. And it's really nice having a team to where you can hide that. It's a good sign that there's ways that we can still be better, right?
Yeah,
and
dude. Cignetti was livid. There was penalties.
Right?
There was a missed assignment. Like, there are things to coach.
I thought the wide receivers can do better.
I thought the wide receivers as a unit were phenomenal, and I specifically like this is
three-headed monster we were talking
about.
But
not even listen. That's where I was going. But I wanted to point out Charlie Becker as just like to point out the unit after Quinn Warren dropped and picked up the ball and like was able to get it away, was the first one to run up to him in his face, like dapping him up, like way to keep your composure type of deal. And like those are the types of dudes that are in this locker room.
Yeah.
But no, the three-headed monster was the three-headed monster. Like, those dudes were all ridiculous. And then like EJ on the like pass blocking for the Coop touchdown, EJ catching a touchdown, Surratt just literally being unable to be covered at all, which Waffle House all day.
Yeah, I mean we're talking about this group like when you're chasing that national title, right? And it's cool to be able to talk like this now, to where what is the separating factor? Like, what gets you over the mountaintop? It's like having your Travion Henderson, Judkins, just having the weapons, right? Like those Bama teams, the LSU teams. Like, in the modern era, it's really just come down to who's got the horsepower on offense at the end of the day. Because obviously you got to play defense to a certain standard. Indiana's there, but when you're playing those high level games, can you get to 30 first and win the ball game? Is how those things go. And Surratt, Cooper, Williams, they're looking the part. I mean, it's a great trio to have year 2, and it's exciting for year 25. That, what are these guys going to be made of? And Illinois was just a signature. Surratt, Cooper, just coming out. Really, their duo superstar coming out, like they were flawless, and kind of seeing them do that is pretty cool for us to see, because that's going to be what separates us from, can they be better than Penn State's guys, Oregon's guys during the regular season, than whoever we might see in the playoff, the LSU's, the Miamis, because those are teams that we're gonna play, and it's exciting to think about that. And like, are our guys gonna come up to the challenge and like play at that level? And they so far so good.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
We talked about Nowakowski. We talked about Landino. I feel like I'm like forgetting to give helmet stickers. Like, I definitely want to give a helmet sticker to Mendoza.
Yeah, Landino and Bones Jones are my defensive helmet stickers as well. I feel like it was really obvious who got the helmet stickers, because the stars came out. It was Mendoza, Surratt, Coop, and then Landino and Bones Jones, which is a great sign, because those are kind of the more unheralded, expected to kind of do the dirty work on this defense this year, but they came out as the stars, and I think that's a sign of a good football team. They have that kind of depth where guys can have breakout games like that, or on unexpected ones as well. But when you think about it, it's just, they're on this team and they're just going through the system, just like everyone else.
I think the last thing to say about this game or do you have any closing thoughts about the Illinois game, Brad? Do you want to talk about anything specific?
It was the best football game I've ever watched as a fan. It was pure bliss. And yeah, it shot us up in those, I know we talk about the FPI, but like keys are six in the FPI right now.
Hey, the more data you feed that thing, the better it looks.
Yeah. And
what a weekend for ODU too, to not play a football game and pick up pretty much a victory like that. Good for them.
They're 3-1, correct? Like they're
2-1. They didn't play this week. I didn't get to watch. I was really I was a lunatic on Saturday, trying to pass the time and not knowing if I was going to be able to watch the game fully on the TV, or if I was going to have to watch my phone and trying to figure out if I was going to be able to get the video out or not. So I was just like pacing back and forth. I don't think I watched. Can't remember if I watched any college football. Maybe a little bit of like Michigan, a little bit of Purdue and Notre Dame, which was again blood, whatever. But no, I was gonna say I hold on.
Damn.
It's a dangerous city out there. I was just gonna say Indiana, much like UCLA last year, needed to go out on national television and make a statement for people to take them seriously, and they took full advantage of that opportunity.
We're undefeated on NBC, I believe, right?
And now that Notre Dame game was definitely. Oh no, it was on ESPN. Ooh, you might be onto something.
Like 3-0.
Now gets like Curt Cignetti came into the season talking about humble and hungry, and people scoffed at it and whatever and all that good stuff. And now we're approaching that time where I know people are going to move the goalposts, and you've already seen it happen. And like I already started to combat some of it on Twitter, and like people will be like, "Oh well, Illinois wasn't good anyway." And while they'll give an Indiana compliment, but it'll be right like following downplaying Illinois or downplaying the significance of the win. And I wouldn't stand for it. If you see something that bothers you, say something. You know what I mean? Like we're past that point where it's like, let's start calling these people out, because they're literally just changing the narrative. But at the same time, much like me and you are going to do for Tuesday night, this team needs enjoy this win. And as a fan base, we need to enjoy this win. Well, yes, exactly.
Game. We gotta move. We gotta
flip the script, because Iowa is the definition
of this game all day, but it's not over.
Iowa is the definition of a trap game. That's a very tough team to play at home. That crowd's going to be ready. The defense is good. It seems like they may have figured out something with the offense last week in Rutgers. Indiana has to be ready to play this week. They cannot be taking in all of the smoke and all of the praise and all of the holy shit, this team is so good this week, because Iowa will beat the hell out of them if they don't come to play. That's not a team. Iowa is not a team that's going to roll over because Indiana beat Illinois. I can promise you, Iowa fans do not care. They don't. So Indiana, as much as we're going to enjoy this one as a fan base, and we should, and as much as we're going to throw it back in people's faces who said we weren't going to get a moment like this, it at this point at 7 p.m. on Sunday the 21st, enjoy it for tonight. Monday morning hits, let's flip the script. And well, I guess this video is going to come out on Monday, but so after this video comes out and you watch this video, flip the script, and then it's full-blown focus on Iowa, because Indiana has to bring their A game and prove again that they can handle both the noise from the outside, from the media, and the noise physically from the crowd. It's going to be a nice test for them.
Yeah, it's going to be the first road game of the year for the boys. So to kind of handle that, lots of history against Iowa and going over there recently. Most particularly just one game, actually, but I think it's a significant moment in this program's history was that opening game in Iowa, in 2021, that kind of derailed the Tom Allen era. Where
the Riley Moss showcase game.
Yeah, and that 4-year stretch before was Indiana's, probably best 4-year stretch in program history at that point. And they and then they have that game against Iowa, and it kind of just derails the whole thing. And this is coming directly off what is a very emotional 53-point win. A lot can happen. It's hard to tell with this team because they really haven't had the situation. After Nebraska, they had another home game against Washington where Rourke didn't even play. So it's really hard to tell, like, how does this team kind of come out? Obviously, they won the ball game and then go to Michigan State a week later and blow them out. So it's hard to, not feel confident going into Iowa. But yeah, this team needs to wrap it, celebrate the win and then just kind of move on this week. And I think they'll do a good job of doing it just based on what we've seen historically. But definitely
it's the way Cignetti stalks complacency, and the way he operates as a program is they're going to be full blown focused. Like I say that more so as a fan base to remain humble and hungry, because I know that's what Cignetti's going to have that team doing. And as long as they do what they need to do and come prepared, like, they're going to take care of it. Like, they're a better football team than Iowa.
Yeah, they were
I'm not
really
like,
good.
You don't need me to tell you. And Iowa looked good on the road last week, but you don't need me to tell you that perception wise pick whatever met on the field, anything. Indiana's a better football team. They need to go in and win this football game. And if they take care of business this week, they will.
I think if they don't,
we will break down the full.
And Mendoza uses his legs, I think the offense will be fine. And yeah, we'll cover it on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, we will cover it on Tuesday. If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on the Sigs Inside Pod X account, which I'm happy we were able to stream through that. It's kind of cool to bring Sigs Inside back into this in some way, shape, or form, because I do enjoy the name so much and I like the brand of it. If you're watching on the X stream, hop on over to YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football. You can also hop in the chat, ask questions, all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter at Indiana VOCFB, at the Voice of College Football. Check them out. Follow me at Alec Keyser. Follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. The Indiana Hoosiers are 4-0. They are now the proud owners of a ranked win. I don't know. Actually, it's so funny. I don't even know how this stuff works. Like, if Illinois falls out of the rankings, that's still a ranked win.
But they're right? Still ranked.
That's like
but they're ranked at the time.
Honestly, it literally does. I literally don't even care. It literally doesn't even matter. Indiana dismantled Illinois. They're now one step closer to being perceived publicly the way we know they are as a fan base. And it's a really exciting time to be an Indiana Hoosier. And again, I go back to seeing the way the stadium looked on Saturday night. When we were in school, I never thought that would be possible. And
I'm excited for Iowa, and I'm disappointed there's a bye week coming up. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I just want to watch this team play football. And I'm not going to look past the moment we're living in right now. Like, there was a stat by Politico, I think today, where based on winning margin, Cignetti is the most successful debuting coach of all time.
Yeah, first 16 games, something like that.
So
crazy.
Don't take this for granted. I appreciate you guys bearing with us on a wacky Sunday schedule, the travel through everything off. The game being late threw a couple things off. We were able to get live. I didn't mind the 6:00 slot. We'll have to figure that one out going.
That's not bad.
Going forward.
Not bad. We got it done within 24 hours of the game. So
yeah. We'll be back Tuesday night with a preview and a history lesson on Iowa, and we're going to talk expectation versus reality. We'll talk smoke. We'll talk recruiting. Hopefully, we get some news on some of the things we were seeing on Twitter, and we'll be back. Again, appreciate you guys hanging out. Check us out on YouTube. We'll be back on Tuesday night. See you guys.
It'll be a fun one.
Go Hoosiers.